Why is the right to freedom from all forms of violence important for women and girls with disability?
The right to be free from all forms of violence for women and girls with disability is important because, unfortunately, we are a group that is at increased risk of violence due to our vulnerability and due to the fact we're women with disabilities.
It's important so that they feel safe and empowered.
Women to be safe. Keep women safe. I don't feel safe.
Well, I think it's important for everyone, but the reason why it's important particularly for women with disabilities, I think, is that people deserve to explore their environment and do whatever they want freely and without being scared of going out or doing things.
To teach us women that's not the way of life. There is a better life out there. Not just violence, but we need to understand the importance to be safe and to be free and to understand how domestic violence affects you and mentally.
Because it's a human right. Because every single human being deserves to live free from violence. From all forms of violence. And unfortunately, women and girls with disability often experience forms of violence that don't like to be talked about in society. And women and girls with disability are often more vulnerable to violence. But we need to be included in the conversation. And we need to be included in national schemes to end violence. And we need to be free from all forms of violence.
Really, I believe nobody should be experiencing domestic violence, any form of domestic violence. Women and girls, specifically those with disabilities, are extremely vulnerable to violence because often they may not understand their own rights, their education could be lacking, they are not certain on what is provided for them, and so women and girls with disabilities can often experience many years of different forms of domestic violence due to the reasons I outlined.
The freedom from all forms of violence allows women and girls to reach their highest potential. And for women and girls with disability, any form of violence can have huge consequences on them developing to their fullest potential as a human being, as a woman, as a member of a family, as a member of your community. So all forms of violence against women and girls affects your community.
The right to freedom is when you're living on your own, like I am, you do not have to depend on anyone else, and you do not even have to go through this domestic violence again, what you already went through, because while you're with someone else, you're really actually locked up. Mm-hmm. You are. And if you're on your own, you really have opened up the birdcage.